that is already responsible for that. It's like you put some, like you put a chicken here and you tell your dog don't go with it. It will go with it. So you cannot make someone watching something that they already wanted. So I don't think it's a good idea for the international investigation like FBI, CIA come to do that on that level. It should be start with us and with the collaboration with CARICOM, and now to go in the international level after.
Mm-hmm. Tyson, can I get your take on that?
I'm actually glad that you brought up that because the sovereignty of Haiti has been undermined right under CARICOM's nose. Mm-hmm. And we have not said anything because if we are to look at the timeline from when President Moise was assassinated, we would see that the core group of countries moved to have, is it Ariel Henry, put in place as the prime minister. And he did receive the approval of the Parliament of Haiti, the Congress of Haiti. And he's now, well, I assume he is more favored by the core group because of his willingness to do certain things that, they want. Mm-hmm. And again, Haiti, the people of Haiti did not have a say in who become the prime minister. And then on top of that, we see the Americans coming in to investigate. As a matter of fact, just this week, President Biden appointed a special envoy to, well, basically coordinate the U.S.'s help, the assistance in Haiti. And he met with all of the politicians in Haiti over the last few days. I assume to see what ambitions they have or whatever the case may be. And this to me is really absurd because I do not know how an ambassador could determine what is best for Haiti and not involve the people of Haiti. How can an outside country determine what is best, what's the course that should be charted for Haiti? This is not something that I think is right. It is undemocratic. And again, where is CARICOM in all of this? CARICOM has not even appointed their own special envoy to work alongside the United States envoy. All we have seen is Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad, saying that CARICOM should be involved. CARICOM should be involved. But CARICOM has not even taken a step to say, well, how can we help the people of Haiti? Let us make these decisions. You see, nothing has been made. All we are relegated to, as usual, is mouth and all talk.
Tyson, I too, I would have to agree with you. I've seen a number of statements coming from CARICOM with regards to the situation in Haiti, not just the assassination of the president, but, events that have occurred in Haiti. But in terms of real action, I'm not sure if the people of Haiti feel or have been feeling the impact of CARICOM. We have Mr. Kamali Mannix joining us via Zoom. We're going to check to see if he can hear us. But in the meantime, we're going to continue this conversation. But quickly, Mr. Mannix, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you clearly. So we have started the discussion. We're looking at, the events that have transpired in Haiti over the past decade with the 2010 earthquake, the recent assassination of their president, and now we're just learning of the unfortunate news that a 7.2 earthquake has rattled that very fragile nation. Before we continue, we want to get your take on that in a nutshell.
I think the first thing that we need to look at is the fact that Haiti, whether we want to admit it or not, is really and truly a victim of circumstance and a victim of the unfair involvement of all of these same Western powers that often want to portray themselves as saviors. Now, for years and years and years, it has always been touted that Haiti is the most impoverished country in the Western Hemisphere and da 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 and all this absolute crap. But people also fear to indicate why Haiti is the most impoverished country in the Western Hemisphere. And the reality is, when you want to talk about natural resources, land space, of course, a large population that can enable manufacturing, etc., etc., Haiti has all of these things. Haiti has also been burdened with paying back a reparations debt, which was extremely unreasonable and forced the country to literally have to spend almost every single dime it earns in paying back France. And for what? For absolutely nothing. Because France refused to accept that a group of black people wanted to rule themselves. And of course, you had the reinforcement by countries such as the United States and Great Britain and Spain, etc. But be that as it may, you also have the compounding issues that these same countries have ever so often put in place puppet leaders and dictators, etc., and financially supported them, and this has further deterred the progress and development of Haiti. If you look most recently at, well, I wouldn't say most recently, when you look at the twin dictatorial dynasty of Francois Duvalier, who was able to rule Haiti for years, and of course, he was the recipient of millions of dollars from the United States, and then his son came around and lived a very lavish life at the expense of the Haitian public. And so it has created a state that is very fragile, that is still subject to these external pressures that really and truly compound its impoverished situation. And so for me, I think CARICOM, well, in general, I think anybody who knows me personally knows that I absolutely hate CARICOM because I think it's an absolute failure and a waste of public funds. I hate the fact that I'm paying tax to support something that really and truly is just full of crap, right? But be that as it may, CARICOM has not done enough in terms of, so when the earthquake in the 2000s happened, it's just, oh, this is sad, maybe we'll send some peacekeeping forces. When things in general happen in Haiti, we'll just talk about it. But in terms of one, advocating for Haiti, for all these billions of dollars that to be paid in reparations to be paid back, in terms of advocating for these same external entities such as the United States and others to really put their hands to the plow to develop the same country that they have had a part in destroying, CARICOM is silent. And so this failed organization has failed Haiti as well.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mannix. Very passionate. I'm seeing Mr. Tyson. You wanna add to what Mr. Mannix has shared?
Well, I just want to welcome Kamali first, but I will start with this question to Kamali. Is there a difference between what is happening in Haiti, with them being a political football for larger countries, and what is happening to us smaller countries? Because we all know that even though we claim to be independent countries, we are not independent at all. We are mere marionettes, puppets for larger countries. We depend on their aid, which is what Haiti is suffering with right now. They are dependent on foreign aid, dependent on Canada, France, and the United States for aid. So you can see why they feel as though Haiti belongs to them, and what happens in Haiti, they should have a say with. But I will say that I agree with you that CARICOM has failed, and we don't see how a failed organization can help, well, a country that is in desperate need for help. Admittedly, I do believe that it was the Bahamas about 3 years ago, the Prime Minister of Bahamas 3 years ago, who basically said that CARICOM is a waste of time. And funnily enough, it was about a couple of weeks after when they had the hurricanes, they asked CARICOM for help. So you see how, as much as we can say that CARICOM is a waste of time, it has its benefits. We just have to petition our leaders,
Yes.
to really see how best we can restructure CARICOM, to meet our needs and to meet the needs of the member states, because as it stands now, CARICOM cannot help Haiti. A question that I actually have for Felix is if Haiti is actually willing to accept CARICOM help, because I mean, you were desperate after the assassination of the president. The country was unstable, well, very unstable right after. Gaston Brown offered CARICOM's help, and to my knowledge, Haiti did not accept. So I don't know if we should accept that as a slight to CARICOM, or Haiti is telling us you are not in a position to help us, or if Haiti is fixated on getting help from the USA and Canada.
But you know, before you go, Mr. Felix, I would say maybe it's because the people and government of Haiti, maybe it's because they don't have confidence in CARICOM, that CARICOM will provide real assistance and not just the assistance of talking and having these big meetings and these big forums and webinars and seminars. Maybe the people of Haiti are looking for real change. Maybe they are looking for real assistance from the Caribbean community. Mr. Felix, you may go ahead.
Okay, thank you. That question is really interesting, and I will start to say, when the leader of Haiti take a decision, it's not reflect the Haitian decision. They take it their own decision because the boss tell them what to say, and the boss is the core group. So Haiti refuse the help of CARICOM. It's not Haiti. And I will try to make a clarification. After the assassination of the president, we had the prime minister that was in power. It was Claude Joseph. And the USA was saying that Claude Joseph will remain as the prime minister to do the election, even though Haiti is not ready for election yet. The US said you have to remain, and 2 weeks after, the same US said that, okay, give Ariel Henry the power. So you will see the decision basically has been made not Haiti, but is with those people that would think, or not even think, is a reality. Haiti is not for Haitian, unfortunately. So we have to fight. The young generation right now have to fight to take back our country. But it's not because we don't need help from CARICOM, and it's not a race of course, because on the end of the day, if we look in the CARICOM level, we don't need nothing. We have everything in CARICOM. We have everything. So CARICOM, and I could go like a slide like transition. If you see the example of OECS, it's one politics, one money, one bank, one police. I think this is the example the CARICOM has to follow. The same OECS example and expand it to the CARICOM in general, and to get a one politics, one currency, because this is where I think the Caribbean basically is a backyard of this country, and they play with it, and it's all about money, it's all about economic, it's all about politics, it's all about power. And to Haiti to refuse the help in the CARICOM is not reflect the Haitian decision. It's reflect because this country said no, you cannot accept those help, because, and also CARICOM know too, because if you just looking Haiti is like when you have a family, they have a children, this is the rebel one. You cannot dictate that person. So what they do, that's okay. I will make Haiti as an example to other islands. Every time you want to fight, you want to say that I want to be independent or I want to take my own decision, they will tell you, look in Haiti, you want to become the next Haiti? So this is how CARICOM stand right now. Even though they have the will, and I think if we united for will, if the CARICOM is really united, I think that we could face that challenge. But unfortunately, every single decision that Haiti take against CARICOM is not because Haitian decide. The leader just repeat as a robot what the boss tell them to do.
Wow. So that is a clear indication of dictatorship, where it doesn't come from the people. So the people of Haiti may in fact need the assistance or want the assistance, but because of whatever turmoil or political turmoil they're having, they're making decisions for themselves. And that is why we are now seeing, let me say, mass corruption. Not just in Haiti, but across the Caribbean and even within CARICOM. We're going to take a break at 11:45, but we'll continue this conversation. Let me just say good morning to all of you, and thank you guys so much for joining this panel discussion. We are live on Facebook at Win Media SKN, as well as YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. For those of you who tuned in late, we have joining us on the panel Mr. Ralph Felix, who is the president of the Haitian Association in St. Kitts and Nevis. We also have Mr. Kenyatte Tyson, who is a student at the University of the West Indies studying political science and law. And we are also being joined via Zoom with Mr. Kamali Manix, who is the president of the Youth Parliament Association of Antigua and Barbuda. Again, I would want to apologize for the absence of Mr. Malachi Ferguson, who would have been representing the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. So we're on this conversation of, is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? Or, as Mr. Felix said earlier, can CARICOM do anything to assist Haiti? Because we're looking at events that have occurred over the years, not just in Haiti, but across the region, where, from my standpoint, I'm just seeing, as I said before, statements and press releases and forums. But in terms of real change and real progress and real action being taken, you're not seeing it. And you often hear of why they can't assist, and excuses, and this can't happen because of this. And so it's more of an organization where it's all talk, if I may say.
Theater.
It's all talk from my standpoint. And I really hope that the people who form part of this organization, the upper level, I hope they're listening and really, seriously considering taking what the people of the Caribbean are saying. Because too many times decisions are made, as Mr. Felix said, and the people are not included in the entire discussion. The people are not included in the entire discussion. Mr. Manix, earlier before you came, we spoke about, the recent assassination of the Haitian president, where we're now seeing international agencies investigating that matter. Do you think that should have happened, where international agencies come in to investigate instead of CARICOM?
How do I say this in a very nice way? on a normal basis, though, I think all of us can agree. Our police forces are, I don't want to say incompetent, well, some of them are incompetent, and also a lot of them lack the resources to do any sort of proper investigation. Because the reality is, a lot of things happen in our own individual territories, it'd be Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, Nevis, etc., and they go unsolved for years because, of course, we know our police officers are really ill-equipped to deal with a lot of these sort of things that happen locally. At the CARICOM level, though, I really doubt that it's any better, because more than likely what they would do is call upon, individuals from the different police forces to make any sort of regional investigatory body. But be that as it may, I think the first thing that should have been done was probably looking at the Haitian police force investigating. If there was a lack of confidence from the people that they would have been able to correctly investigate it, then you look to external entities, because usually when things happen, we call upon individuals like Scotland Yard, etc., to do any sort of investigation. But even beyond that, if I may just divert a bit, I think the assassination of President Moise puts in the limelight a great existential problem, where one, Haiti is politically unstable and has been for years, and really and truly is in need of a very stable and progressive government that can, one, seek to alleviate poverty, two, seek to develop the infrastructure of the country, and three, just raise the living standards of people in general. But one of the greatest problems that they have, and I will keep saying it, is you have the intervention from these external entities that like an impoverished Haiti. They like a Haiti that is broke. They like a Haiti whose police force is so incompetent that they can say, oh, international entities will investigate this assassination and you guys will do nothing. They like this sort of thing. They have, as a matter of fact, put Haiti in this position. And so it is an unfortunate situation, I will admit, that you don't even have a situation where the internal police force can investigate it. But it's also a greater issue because CARICOM can't even do anything either. And I will keep on saying, I heard what Kenyatta would have said in terms of support to the Bahamas. Giving money to people is very small. Even you look at the fact that most Caribbean countries, the governments have national insurance for times of disaster. So getting a $1 million to give to the Bahamas isn't anything that is far-fetched, right? My main problem with CARICOM is CARICOM has failed fundamentally. As an entity, it has failed. And I like that Mr. Felix referenced the OECS. And I just want to take a plug here to pay tribute to our former Prime Minister, Celeste Brett, that died, who was a champion of the OECS. Because what the OECS has mastered to do is really and truly integrate sovereign states and territories to literally act as one unit. That is what the OECS has accomplished. He even referenced the dollar. We have a shared currency, a lot of shared political systems, shared laws, etc., etc., etc. That is what CARICOM needs to be, and that is what CARICOM isn't. And so CARICOM is in a position where even if these external entities impose themselves to investigate the assassination of a sitting head of state and head of government, they're in a position they can't do anything. So it goes back to the initial point. CARICOM can't help Haiti when CARICOM needs help. CARICOM needs Jesus Christ, frankly. so unless CARICOM fixes itself, and when I say fixing, major fixing, unless CARICOM fixes itself, CARICOM is in no position to lecture or help Haiti, and it's an undeniable reality, but that is where CARICOM is. So yes, we can admit that Haiti has problems, but I don't think CARICOM is the person to fix it. Really and truly, the OECS is in a better position to help Haiti than CARICOM is.
Mm-hmm. Kamali, we're going to take a break to say thank you to the sponsors for this program. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. Let's take this short break and we will be right back.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News on 1FM 98.9. We're going to head back into this discussion discussion. It's 11:46. Sorry, it's 11:48, and we're going to wrap up this discussion at 12 just for the headline news break, and we'll come back right after about 12:15 so that we can continue this conversation, and thereafter we will be taking some calls from members of the public. You can pose your questions and you can give your take on this topic. Is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? Can CARICOM do enough to assist Haiti? Let me give out the numbers quickly. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. We are also live on Facebook at Win Media SKN, as well as YouTube at Win Media SKN. It is 11:49. Let's continue this conversation. So, back at the topic, is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? But we have now established that CARICOM themselves need help. So, I guess that, in a sense, eliminates the question, is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? Is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? Because they themselves would need help. So now that we have eliminated that question, what can we do as a people to assist Haiti? We have the Haitian Association of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a number of youth parliament associations and small groups and organizations across the Caribbean that are more active, that have done a lot more than CARICOM. So what can these organizations do to assist the people, especially right now? I am getting some live updates out of Haiti, and I just received some footage of people scattering from floods coming in from a possible tsunami. Water is flooding the streets right now, and people are scattering. I'm seeing some photos of buildings that are completely, they're flattened, they're down. And I know it's a very emotional situation for Haitian nationals right now in St. Kitts and Nevis, because they too have family and friends in Haiti. And again, my thoughts and my prayers go out to the people of Haiti right now. I can only imagine what they are going through, as they too are faced with the challenges that COVID-19 has brought. And so I really hope that, yes, I say CARICOM and other organizations across the Caribbean pool together their resources to assist the people of Haiti at this point in time. But Mr. Felix, as you are the president of the Haitian Association here in St. Kitts and Nevis, what can your association do, or what has your association done to provide assistance to Haitian nationals or people in Haiti over the years?
Okay. Normally that just come back to the history of the creation of the association, because one of the main purposes to provide help for Haitian back to Haiti, and also focus on the Haitian that are living here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But unfortunately, up to now, we cannot say that we do officially as an association do something really concrete for back home, because how we located, the position St. Kitts has to ship goods to Haiti is really expensive, and we are basically is a non-profit organization, and that basically is really costly, and the time also. So what we do sometime when they have some group who contact us, like I could say that 2 or 3 months ago they have a church in Haiti where we have some members of the Haitian Association here who living in St. Kitts that they used to go with on this church. So they contact us and we provide something. It wasn't like in an official level, but we do what we could do to help person that who need help in Haiti. But we more focus on helping person here, because the association it's a platform that every Haitian that who migrate in St. Kitts and Nevis, we try to assist them in provide them information, to provide them some support, and try to make them integrate, because most of us is already almost 10 years living here, so we're more comfortable to St. Kitts. So when we have a Haitian that just came, we try our best to help them. But to say that we do something physically and concrete to Haiti in general, we don't do that yet. But is one of the main purpose of the association, and we'll see. As a fact, we're young, but we'll see how we could create some connection with the association here, with other associations that who in the field in Haiti, to see how we could collaborate together and do something for the population that we need help.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. Kamali, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're the president of the Youth Parliament Association of Antigua and Barbuda. What can your association do to assist the people at this time?
Well, one of the things that I'm very cognizant of in terms of, and going back to this whole idea of what can the individual governments within CARICOM do, governments tend to not do anything unless there is a political will so to do, which means the people pressuring the government. Because of course, political parties want to find ways that they can either gain popularity or to remain popular. And so I think where organizations like this Parliament Association can assist is the fact that we can provide that avenue of advocacy, where we can then, through our consistent pleas and cries and so on, trigger a situation where the government would be more inclined to react and to support the people of Haiti. Beyond that, I think of course, it's very difficult to do, because of course we as well are an NGO, and we as well are trying to, cope with our own national dynamics as a nation. But I think that's really and truly centrally what we can do. Through our advocacy to our government, attempt to create that political will at the local governmental level, and then hopefully at the regional level, because of course Antigua has always played a very frontline role in the creation or regional movements. I can happily say almost every single regional integration institution was created in Antigua by an Antiguan head of government, either Sevilla, Cornwall, Bird, or Leicester Bird. So hopefully that level of clout remains and is still able to be effective in terms of shifting CARICOM, the organization in need of healing, to try and help Haiti's healing.
Right, thank you so much, Mr. Mannix. Mr. Tyson, you want to add something at this time?
I was thinking, and it's actually very controversial, because a lot of persons, a lot of governments, they all give the public clamor, yes, Haiti should be assisted. Yes, Haiti needs help. And then when you ask them, well, what will you do? Everybody goes quiet. I am wondering if it is that maybe, for the past few months, St. Kitts and Nevis in particular, we have been seeing some illegal migrants washing up on our shores. They come in the boatloads from Haiti. Why can't we take in these people? Do we have to deport them? We know what they're running from. And I believe maybe it is inhumane to be aware of what it is that they are going through and still send them back in this situation.
If I may add to that, Mr. Tyson, I think first the government would have to develop a real plan, a robust plan that will really assist these people, because we know of the situation in Haiti even before this earthquake and before the 2010 earthquake. We know the situation in Haiti, and so trying their best or finding a way to assist these people is what should be done. Now, some may make the argument that you just can't have people coming here from all over, but we have to remember that there are St. Kitts Nevis nationals living in other countries. And so at times I realize that we have this, what should I call it, a syndrome that, you know, you can only find a condition and a division in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah, we are very xenophobic, actually.
You know, and
We are
that's
open to
that's
change.
really sad.
Actually, I want to say, well, people thought that St. Kitts cannot hold any more people with just ourselves. And then we made room for we call them the Spanish, but the persons from the Dominican Republic. You know, they come here and we welcome them. You know, we're happy they are here. But it's only when you drive across to Newtown you realize it's a lot of them. And maybe soon the government can establish a little Haiti. You know, but that's the only way I think that we can help people. We can see how much we can hold, and we welcome them here. At least that will help with our population problem. If it is, and the Barbados is having a population problem, they want people to produce babies, and the Barbadian people are not doing that. And so the only way to do that, then to increase their population, is then to invite other people in. And so that is something that our government can look at.
Guys, it's 11:59. It's 12 o'clock, and so we're going to wrap up shortly for the headline news, and we are going to come back thereafter to continue with this discussion. Before we wrap up, can I get some comments from you, Mr. Felix? Say something to the Haitian nationals listening right now.
So, about to help in the field here, I think yes. I think it should be something that it could at least show us and prove us that we're part of the CARICOM, because sometimes we feel that we are the stepchild sometimes. And we basically forever grateful for St. Kitts, because I'm traveling a lot into the Caribbean. And I think that St. Kitts, it's the most welcome. Yes, they need some improvement on certain point, but I think it's the most welcome. And I'm talking really in the personal level, but I know it's not everybody who get the same experience than me. But I think that if Haiti and St. Kitts, we define the diplomatic relation to establish a point, because we know we're not part of the Treaty of Chagamas of Free Movement and Skill Certificate. We're not part of it. But I think that if St. Kitts and Nevis or other country like Bahamas, Antigua, those kind of big islands that will really have a big concentration of Haitian, if they could see how they could redefine the strategy diplomatically with Haiti, or even though inside, to help us as immigrants that who came and to try to run the problem, even though run is never a solution, because I think that we have to solve our problem ourselves. But as the fact that the reality, we're already immigrants, so I think that St. Kitts and Nevis or other islands could try to redefine the diplomatic relation, the strategy, like immigration politics, to see how they could assist more and for us to feel more comfortable and more welcome when we touch down.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Felix. Mr. Mannix, you want to add something at this time as well?
Sure, I will. Really and truly, I think what part of Haiti is, well, can you hear me? Okay. Part of the reason why Haiti feels like a stepchild, and is understandably so, is because CARICOM came about from a regional movement, not necessarily to integrate the entire Caribbean, but to integrate most of all the English-speaking Caribbean, former British colonies, etc., etc., etc. So I believe even in the creation of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, there was not really much thought put into integrating Haiti. I think maybe after, the integration movement continued to move and they started to realize, look, we really have other individuals who are treated as external entities. I think really and truly how the best way CARICOM can help at this point is, I don't think absorbing foreigners is ever the best way to help a country, if I'm going to be quite frank, because it does place a strain on the receiving country's resources, particularly when you look at social services. And in the age of COVID, most countries, what is stressed the most in most territories are its social services. I can speak for Antigua and Barbuda particularly, that has had reduced revenue. One of our main problems is finding money to spend on social services. I think what we need to do as an entity is really and truly try and figure out, look, what can we do to help these individuals from a micro political level, as in on the ground, helping via government level, and then what can we do as a regional entity in terms of advocating for all the money that would have been paid to France to be paid back, and then how can we see to it that the influence or overbearing influence of countries like the United States stays out of Haiti. Because I think the United States and other entities knows if the Caribbean stands together, the Caribbean can be a force to be reckoned with. And so that's why they play the game of divisive politics, where they are friends to some and enemies to other, to create a antagonistic relationship in between us. I think if we come together as an entity, we're in an even better position to help CARICOM, to help Haiti.
That will never happen.
This is such a deep conversation, that it opens the room for other topics. Because with the question, is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti? We have established that CARICOM themselves need assistance to internally to be in a better position to help others. There's a comment here I want to put in quickly before we take this break on the YouTube page. It says, CARICOM is big, however, what about the individual countries? Do they do something for the immigrants? So instead of looking at CARICOM as a whole, what about countries individually? What do they do to assist Haiti? We'll take this break to say thank you to our sponsors and for the headline news. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. This has been Inside the News on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Panel discussion on, is CARICOM doing enough to assist Haiti?
Summer is here. Oh, but so much to do. Renovating the house, preparing for back to school. Plus, I really could consolidate some loans to free my hand for some extra cash. Let me think. Where should I go? TDC Financial Services. I can get up to $40,000 unsecured in their Hello Summer Loan promotion. And then I'll be able to get all I need. Hello Summer. TDC Financial Services. Here I come.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
You found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement